looks like a delivery notice, but it's not. Channel 3's Lori Mitchell joins us in the studio with more. Lori.
Yeah, this card, it's really a marketing tool to get consumers to call a number, share personal information, and eventually buy something. As we found out today, the local Better Business Bureau is receiving a lot of calls about postcards like this one. Here's the postcard being mailed to people living in Chattanooga. In big letters at the top, it says delivery notice. The next sentence says, we have a package for you. Instructions on the card include a phone number to call and a tracking number. But what it doesn't say is who it's from. So we took the postcard to the Better Business Bureau to find out more.
It looks legit. Somebody obviously spent a lot of money on this. Right. They've got the postage numbers, but it doesn't say who the company is.
Right. And that's what we refer to as deceptive advertising.
President Jim Winsett says this type of marketing is common but misleading. The BBB has received a lot of complaints about it.
From that advertising, you have no idea what the product is. Again, what they're trying to do is get you, if you can come and speak to us, and maybe we can sell you the product. So it's very deceptive in that approach.
Hold while I try to connect you.
I called the number to find out more, and the person who answered immediately asked for my address. The BBB advises never sharing personal information. Bottom line, if you receive a postcard like this, it's best to throw it in the trash.
It's one of those things, if it sounds too good to be true, you know, maybe it isn't true.
That's usually the case. Again, the Better Business Bureau says this particular card is not a scam. It's not illegal. It's what they refer to as deceptive advertising. Still, it can be confusing to people, especially seniors. And we should point out some companies have even been sued over this type of marketing. I'm Lori Mitchell, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Lori. A Red Bank man's charged after he's accused of zip tying his wife to her wheelchair. Not only that, the 47-year-old William Rogers is also accused of neglecting to give his wife, Shannon, food and medication in a timely manner and refusing to allow her contact with her mother. Rogers said he admitted to tying her up, said she was out of control. Several months ago, he placed an order of protection against her mother so that she can't check on wife Shannon, who is sick with cancer. Adult Protective Services is now in charge of the woman's case. Rogers is in the Hamilton County Jail. 6 burglaries from cars have been solved with a single arrest, police say. 18-year-old Hunter Hanks was arrested yesterday. The burglaries happened on Waterhaven Drive last night. Chattanooga police say they saw Hanks, who matched the suspect description. And when they stopped him, they discovered a gun on him, part of the items stolen from the cars. Hanks is due in court next week.
Community members voiced their opinions on some tough decisions facing the Hamilton County School Board. The board hosted a community forum at Orchard Knob Elementary to discuss the search for a superintendent and the future of the district's low-performing schools, also called I-Zone schools. Channel 3's Tanisha Cordell has the story.
Nearly every seat in Orchard Knob Elementary School's auditorium was filled with people eager to speak up about the district's leadership. The school board has narrowed its superintendent search down to 5 candidates, but some say they're happy with the district's current leadership.
And we have a unique county. We need someone who understands the needs of our students, our teachers, and our community. Support us and trust our judgment on who we feel is best for our kids.
Another controversial topic, the future of the district's I-Zone schools. They are the 5 low-performing schools. Board members say they're faced with 2 options: let the state take over the 5 schools or agree to partner with the state to turn the schools around. They say those schools have achieved little academic progress in the last 5 years.
This is an exploratory option. We have not signed an agreement with anybody. We are not turning over our schools to a private company. We're not giving away our schools.
Brainerd High School Principal Uris Agee disagrees. He says the I-Zone schools have made major progress, including Brainerd.
See for yourself. Those that walk through the doors of Brainerd and come visit, you know the truth. Stop letting the media and people, the newspaper and state folks come define what it is that's success, right? Because they define it in the papers and y'all just run with it.
And that was Tanisha Cordell reporting. The 5 superintendent finalists will come to Chattanooga next week for face-to-face interviews. Another forum will be held for the community to ask questions. As for the I-Zone schools, the low-performing schools, the board plans to submit a decision to the state by July. And coming up on Live at 5:30, we'll have a look at the drive home. And later, reports from Carfax show that some cars may have been repaired with recycled airbags that were part of recalls.
It's been warm and muggy, but so far no rain in our viewing area, especially here in the city. I'll let you know if that's going to change and if our rain chances go up over the next few days and heading into the weekend.
If you use Cassandra Smith Road in Hickson, be warned, a section is closed for utility work. They're expected to keep that road closed throughout the month of June. Hickson Pike, Hamill Road, and Adams Road are all alternate routes. Now let's see about the drive home. Here's Mo.
Channel 3 Eyewitness News traffic sponsored by CHI Memorial. Schedule an annual wellness checkup today at one of our more than 30 locations. Visit chimemorialmedicalgroup.org to find a physician near you.
Chattanooga police working to get a few accidents out of your way. One of those on Bonnie Oaks Drive at Youngstown, also one on Brainerd Road near Eastgate Loop. And they're working to clear an accident southbound 75. It's going to be just before you get to the 24 split there around the 2-mile marker. Here you can see a little bit heavier traffic in the southbound lanes. The good news, accident is off the roadway, but again, watch for those emergency crews out there southbound 75. And rush hour delays, get ready for them if you travel I-24 eastbound, getting from downtown to the 75 split. You're looking at about a 14 to 16 minute commute time. From the US 101 Information Center, it's Mo with your Eyewitness News traffic.
Mo, thanks so much. Many people hop onto free public Wi-Fi networks for quick web browsing, check email, but it's risky. Most people understand the dangers that a bad guy or a hacker may be using the same network to spy on you. Little you can do to prevent it. Ahead on Live at 5:30, tell you about a solution that is gaining popularity.
So I depend on Sorensen, which
Wi-Fi at restaurants and airports are
So I depend on Sorensen, which requires high-speed internet. I upload a lot of music videos for the deaf and the hard of hearing. With EPB, I upload and I'm done. It's just the fastest internet connection that I've had, and I will never go back. Never. There's never been a time that I've had to call or even email that I haven't gotten an answer right away. I love my EPB.
Well, if you're away from home on vacation or just around town, you've probably connected to a public Wi-Fi network to browse the internet or log on to Facebook.
Many of those public networks pose a big risk. Hackers often use them to try to steal your information right from your computer. There are a few things you can do to protect yourself, though. Our consumer technology reporter, Jamie Tucker, shows us how you can hide even in public.
Public Wi-Fi at restaurants and airports are very tempting to log into, to hop on the internet, check email, and you might already realize that a hacker can hop onto the same public Wi-Fi and see what's on your computer and what you're doing. Well, a solution is a virtual private network. You may see them advertised as a VPN. And if you travel a lot, you should have one and you should use it. When you log onto a public network, your computer's address is visible. That's a long string of numbers and periods that identifies your computer. On a public network, you're showing everyone your address. But a virtual private network encrypts your address. And what this means is that rather than showing your actual computer address, a VPN assigns you a different string of numbers. This allows you to keep all of your information private. No one will be able to see which websites you visit, email you receive and send, and bank accounts you access online. You're basically on the internet anonymously. Private Tunnel is $6 a month. If you're traveling a lot or if you just want the added security at home, a yearly subscription is just $35. Now, I should say a virtual private network will not stop ransomware. You can still get that just by clicking on a malicious link. But if you do travel a lot, or if you do use public Wi-Fi very much, or if you just want more security on your home computer, it is worth checking out the virtual private networks, or VPNs, to keep you safe. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
There have been some concerns with using a free version of a virtual private network. Privacy experts suggest it's worth spending a few dollars a month for a premium version to protect your information.
There's no question airbags have saved thousands of lives, but the folks at Carfax say some damaged cars may have been repaired using recycled airbags. Those airbags are cheaper, often coming from junkyards where parts are sold at a discount. Find out where the airbag came from and see if the junkyard car was on the airbag recall list. Experts say you should insist on original equipment made by the car's manufacturer. That is especially true with an airbag. Well, it will cost more to shop at Costco. The company is raising its membership fees a little bit starting today. Membership at U.S. and Canada stores will be $60 for individual and business card holders, up $5. Executive members will see their membership fee go up by $10 to $120.
To the unbelievable situation in Memphis, where officials are asking for patience from still thousands of people who remain without power after a weekend storm lashed the city with winds of up to 105 miles an hour. Weather officials said winds from Saturday night's storm knocked down massive trees, felled electrical lines, and cut power to street lights and traffic signals. No deaths were reported, but more than 180,000 people lost power from the storm. That number is now down to 41,000. That time of year again when we start watching for any sign of tropical storms that may turn into something more serious as they approach the U.S. Forecasters from NOAA are predicting an above average season. One thing meteorologists cannot predict is where the violent storms will strike, and that's why officials stress the importance for hundreds of thousands living in high-risk areas to have a plan.
We cannot stop hurricanes, but again, we can prepare for them. The most dangerous part of a storm is not the wind, it's not the rain, it's the flooding and the storm surge that occurs afterwards.
They suggest having an evacuation plan and emergency supplies on hand. For now, all eyes are focused on the Atlantic with uncertainty of just what this year's hurricane season has in store. The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st through November 30th. All seems quiet out there right now. Let's check in with Nick Austin and see what's going closer to home. Hey, Nick.
Hi, Greg. It is quiet, but even though we're inland and not a coastal area, we need to watch the tropics too, because some of you might remember Labor Day back in 2011. Tropical Storm Lee produced a record rainfall of about 9 or 10 inches here in the Chattanooga area with a lot of flooding. So we have to watch out for those storms even after they come inland. Right now, just some high and mid-level clouds. Things are nice and quiet here. We do have a storm that is approaching, slowly approaching northern Grundy County. If you're watching us from north of Altamont, those are kind of rural high terrain areas, but even near Altamont, those storms might be heading your way in a little bit. It looks like it's going to hold together. By the time it gets further southward, say towards Dunlap and here in Chattanooga, it's probably going to be faded out by then. But those of you in northern Grundy County need to just keep an eye on that. No storms anywhere else. Temperatures in the 70s and 80s across the whole region. Right here in the city, 84 degrees, nice and warm and muggy. 79 Dalton, 80 up in Athens, and Dayton is coming in around 81. Winds are calm, and the pollen count, which is mainly just grass pollen, 22. So it's lower than yesterday, and that's good news. Other than the storms that are approaching the plateau, we have more up near the Knoxville metro area, just west of Knoxville, some heavy rain and storms. But most of it is further south, right along this frontal boundary. Atlanta down to Macon, across a lot of the Gulf Coast areas, and back up towards northern Mississippi and into Little Rock. We do have a lot more areas of scattered showers and thunderstorms, but the ones that are up in the northern parts of our viewing area approaching Grundy County should fade out before dark. But before that happens, they could reach Grundy County. And then after that, it'll probably weaken. So after that, just some clouds for the rest of the night. Some very isolated showers or storms may pop up tomorrow, but they'll probably favor just a few of the high terrain areas. Other than that, partly cloudy and just muggy again tomorrow. And then again, just an outside chance of isolated showers or storms popping up on Saturday. But again, they'll probably favor some of the high terrain areas as opposed to the valleys. No rain today at the airport, but we're ahead of schedule. Surplus for the year is about 6 inches. So we could use some dry days here for a little while. We just don't want to get back into a drought. 87 the high after a low of 62. So that high of 87, just a few degrees above normal. 81 in Fort Payne, the high today. 88 in Chatsworth. That was one of the hot spots today. Calhoun, Georgia, 85. 78 in Blue Ridge. And it was 74 up on Fort Mountain. Soddy Daisy topped out at 84 with 82 in Ottawa today, while Ringgold, our Skywatcher Johnny, had 83. And out in the Blue Ridge, Dave in Turtletown had 77. Up in Spring City, it topped out at 85, also one of the warmest spots today, and 82 for Dan up in Dayton. Here in the city tonight, only a very slim chance that that storm to the north is going to reach us before dark. After that, just some clouds, 63. And then tomorrow back up to 89 degrees. It'll be warm and muggy out there tomorrow. Can't rule out a stray storm popping up just briefly, but it's a very slim chance. 65 with some clouds tomorrow night. And your 70 forecast again has just isolated showers or storms possible on Saturday, and highs are still going to be in the upper 80s. But as a cold front gets closer for the second half of the weekend, you'll need your umbrellas for Sunday, and then keep them handy for Monday too, because we'll see storms popping up in more and more areas on Sunday and more neighborhoods on Monday too with that cold front. But the first half of the weekend is probably the day on Saturday is the day that you probably want to get outside or maybe get some gardening done or any yard work, because it's more likely we'll see some showers and storms on Sunday as opposed to Saturday.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nick.
You bet.
Later in live at 5:30, some new additions to the Belgian Zoo. We'll show you the unique animals.
And coming up after the break, a 6-year-old, the youngest speller ever at the National Spelling Bee. We'll see how she did.
What the Tech is brought to you by
Gig City's only local provider of the fastest internet and sharpest HD TV, EPB Fiber Optics.
During the early rounds of the Scripps National Spelling Bee in Washington, all eyes were on a 6-year-old kindergartner from Oklahoma.
6 years old. Edith Fuller, the youngest spelling bee contestant ever, a full 2 years younger than the next youngest competitor. Reporter Karen Larson followed her every word.
Will you please give me the language of origin?
Edith Fuller has everyone on the edge of their seat.
Are there any alternate pronunciations?
As she slowly spells out her word.
T-A-P-A-S, tapas.
Correct.
This 6-year-old girl more calm than spellers twice her age every time she stood at the microphone.
Nick Nasty.
And if you wonder how she could possibly spell words like that one,
I just remember them. I remember the spellings. I remember spelling them.
Scandium.
291 spellers competing for the Scripps National Spelling Bee Championship, a field narrowed to 40 by 2 rounds on stage and a written test.
The next youngest competitor to Edith is 2 years older, and most of them are 6 to 8 years older. Another thing to think about is 73 of these spellers have been on that stage before, giving them a tremendous edge and experience.
While Edith didn't score well enough on the written test to make the finals, she's already thinking about the next bee and teaching her 3 little brothers.
I want to start teaching them, and maybe William might want to go to the spelling bee too.
Amazing, huh?
She's so well-spoken, yes.
Thrasher Elementary's very own Lisa Lynn competed yesterday. She didn't make today's finals, though.
But she did spell obnoxiously and ornithopolis correctly. By the way, that last word means pollinated by birds.
And obnoxiously is a word she spelled, not the way she spelled,
exactly, right? Up next on Live at 5:30, a country music legend is showing Preds fans some love with a free concert before the game Saturday.
Plus of it being in Nashville, huh? And at the Belgian Zoo, animal statues made entirely of, you can see it, Legos. Show some popular zoo characters. Stay with us. A zoo in Belgium's welcoming new additions, series of large animal statues made entirely of Legos. It's been installed around the park, part of an exhibition hoping to raise awareness about endangered species. Made by a U.S. artist, the statues include a lion, a ladybird, even an extinct dodo bird. And Predators fans, listen up. Country singer Alan Jackson will play a free outdoor concert on Saturday in the Music City before the Nashville Predators' first home game in the 2017 Stanley Cup Finals. Jackson says he's a Predators fan and he's proud to be included in the team's road to the Stanley Cup. Free concert will be held on Nashville's Lower Broadway. They just shut the street down there. Jackson is scheduled to perform at 4:45. I suppose that's Central Time. Officials say coolers, backpacks, and large bags will not be permitted because of safety concerns and, of course, those instruments of crime that may pop up. Now a look at what's coming up at 6.
The Chattanooga Fire Department made quick work of the fire and contained the fire to one classroom, but there is smoke and water damage throughout this building.
At a high school, even though the school is out for the summer, students were nearby where the blaze erupted, we'll tell you.
Plus, a traffic issue that's affected drivers for years is now fixed. Well, at least partially. The Exit 1 ramp on US 27 is open. We'll tell you what TDOT officials did to alleviate traffic jams.
Dynamite was found in a North Georgia residence there, how the explosives were found and how they were detonated. Those stories and more coming up.
With coverage you can count on, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 6.
Tonight, we're getting a look at the personnel files of a Chattanooga police officer under federal investigation. I'm Cindy Sexton.
And I'm Greg Glover, and for David Carroll. It's a 34-page document, and it reveals details about